But I want to do another quiz thing, but this time about Pup Academy, since apparently we're doing quizzes about dog-related shows that he watches. And then after that, we'll do Puppy Dog Pals. You'll just keep doing quizzes about these shows, and you never have to do any work. How's that sound?
This is fantastic.
Excellent. All right, testing 1, 2, 3. Hi, friends. Welcome back to Not Again, the podcast that brings college-level analysis to preschool-level content. I'm one of your hosts, Rebecca.
And I'm your other host, Alan.
And today, we are doing our second installment of Alan Guesses the Plot. I don't have theme music for this. Do you want to compose?
I can't promise that I'll compose some, but I can try.
If Alan in the future composed a theme for Alan Guesses the Plot, you've already heard it. That's how time travel works. Or just listening to things when they come out. If not, pretend we had a really jazzy, kind of fun, upbeat intro for that, musically. You're going to guess the plot of Trolls. Not Trolls 2, but Trolls. Now, this is, if you don't know what we're talking about, there was an episode a while back called Alan well, I don't actually know what it was called. Well, yes, I do. Salad Dressing and Charity. I remember. It's where Alan guesses the plot of a movie that I've seen and he hasn't, and we did that for Disney Pixar's Cars. And for this one, it's going to be a little more fun because while I have seen Trolls somewhere between 1 and 3 times because I was trying to get Warren to watch something other than whatever was annoying me at the time and it was on Netflix, I saw Cars a lot. So I remembered the plot of Cars. I'm not sure I remember Trolls perfectly. So not only is Alan going to guess the plot, but I'm going to kind of guess when I give him the correct answer. I'm going to do my best to remember, and shenanigans will ensue. But when we did this with Cars, I gave you some stuff to go off of. I didn't just say, like, there's sentient cars, write a movie. So, and you also knew the main character and stuff. So here's what I'm going to tell you about Trolls. What do you know about it going in?
Yes, I should say what I know about Trolls. Trolls is a fun jukebox musical where a bunch of people sing a bunch of songs.
A bunch of trolls.
Sure. And there is no plot that is discernible from that.
No, there isn't.
Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis?
No, Anna Kendrick.
Okay.
But I like that those two are interchangeable in your mind.
I mean, no offense to them. I just don't know. And I'm guessing. And they sing September by Earth, Wind, and Fire, which I like. That's a good song.
For those who don't know, by the way, a jukebox musical is a musical where you take songs that already exist in the world, like when Across the Universe used Beatles songs or when Mamma Mia used ABBA.
ABBA? Yeah.
ABBA? That's a jukebox musical. So yeah, you know that much about it, but you don't know the plot.
How could there be one?
Have you seen a trailer for it?
No.
Oh, or if you have, you don't remember?
I definitely don't remember one thing.
All right, so I will give you a little bit of information, and then you are going to write the plot, because I'm going to put this in scare quotes, but there is a plot to this movie? Sort of. They certainly tried.
Look, so what's going to happen is I'm going to end up guessing the plot of Trolls, but I'm also at the same time going to be guessing the plot of Sing.
Right. So anyway, just let me give you some information about Trolls so that we can actually move this thing along.
All right.
You cut me off and now I don't remember what I was going to say.
You were going to give me some information about Trolls
they tried
so that I could guess.
They tried a plot. They tried for it. And so you're going to try to put together the pieces given the little bit of information that I am going to provide you right now. 1, Anna Kendrick's character is named Poppy because she sings pop music.
Oh, okay. I did not narrow that down, by the way.
Trolls 2 is worse. I only watched it because the McElroy brothers were in it for 0.02 seconds. So, Justin Timberlake's character is named Branch. Because he likes barbecue ranch dressing, obviously. And I think that this movie was basically to invigorate or vitalize or resuscitate his career because there's a big song like at the end that's an original song that played on the radio constantly before the movie was out, and it's by Justin Timberlake, the one about happiness. No, that's Pharrell. The other happiness song. There's 2 happiness songs. I swear, it's like It's if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. No, darn it. That's not it either. All I can think about is if you're happy and you know it.
Look, there's minions, there's large hats. And he looks like a Mountie.
Are you kidding me? I've heard this song so many times. Hold on, I'm not going to sing it because I don't want to hurt anybody. But you've heard this song. He sang it for the Oscars. It's our anniversary. He did a big number.
Nope.
I've got this feeling inside my bones. There we go. You know, it's like anyway. Fine, you haven't heard it. So anyway, I'm not going to sing it. So at least not on recording.
I think we should leave that all in.
No, absolutely not. I already snapped to show where I'm cutting out me trying to sing. Like I said, nobody needs to be injured by my singing voice ever, aside from you. But you often put on headphones.
I signed up for this.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have Poppy and we have Branch, and we probably have an entire movie made just to just to revitalize Justin Timberlake's career. So there are a lot of big names in it as well. A lot of YouTube stars made it in for cameos and people you would never expect. This is really interesting. So there are tiny little. Do you remember the troll dolls that inspired this? By the way,
yes,
they were like naked.
Yes, okay. I remember what troll dolls.
So there are these tiny little colorful troll doll. They're meant to sell toys, Justin Timberlake's career and sell toys, and they're called trolls. But there's also an antagonist species in this movie. So I'm going to let you know that there's an antagonist species humanoid in this movie that.
Well, now I'm thinking of Smurfs, like Gargamel or something.
Not human, but humanoid. They are very much into singing and dancing and partying, but then something bad happens because of this antagonist species, and Poppy and Branch must go on an adventure together as unlikely friends and rescue some other trolls. So there you go. There's a rescue involved and a song about happiness. All right. With all that wonderful information,
look,
what happens in Trolls?
All of my universes are muddled. I'm thinking about My Little Pony. I'm thinking about Smurfs. I'm thinking about everything. I have no idea what the Trolls universe is.
I can at least tell you the antagonist so that you can kind of like go with it.
Sure.
All right. So this is what bothers me is there's these happy peppy little creatures that are adorable named trolls, but the antagonist species looks more like what you and I would call trolls. You know, like Boromir going, they've got a cave troll, like that guy.
Oh, okay.
Like the giant cave troll that they use in Resident Evil, like the troll in Harry Potter, like those kinds of trolls. That's what they look like. But they can't be called trolls because we already have the tiny little peppy creatures who are pretty pink colors and like to sing pop songs. So they have to be called something else. So these things that look more like trolls are called Bergens.
Wouldn't have guessed that.
And the Bergens live in a society, and they used to use the trolls for a very important purpose, but the trolls escaped from the Bergens, and they are trying to remain hidden in the forest. And the main antagonist, Bergen, has a very important career that exists in human society.
Music producer.
Okay, go for it.
Now I'm thinking of Monsters Inc. What they're going to do is they're using the trolls' beautiful sounds because it's Justin Timberlake to profit or extort or use it in some way for their own benefit. And because they're so great at singing, I'm getting no response, by the way. This is not working.
I just wanted to show you. This is what the Bergens look like. As you can see, they look more like trolls than the trolls do.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
And they are taking all of the trolls' beautiful music, which is Anna Kendrick and Justin Timberlake, and they are using it for their own devices. And the trolls are going to break free and go off on their own. And when they do that, they sing super great songs and everybody loves it and it works.
You just described the plot of the live action Alvin and the Chipmunks movie.
I did not know that either.
The live action Alvin and the Chipmunks movie is one of the ones we've talked about before because of certain gross habits that both this movie and the live action Alvin and the Chipmunks movie got into with regards to fecal matter. So that's fun. But now I'm going to nudge you closer to the plot. This is fun. The profession of the main antagonist, Bergen, they're all antagonists, but like the main antagonist, Bergen, is chef. She's a cook.
Okay.
One of the most important people in the kingdom. And she is in danger of losing her status and her life and her living quarters because the trolls escaped. So she is desperate to get them back. Why?
Because they harvest apples. I got nothing. I think this is just Justin Timberlake singing for 2 hours. I have no idea.
It is just okay. Yes, that's a pretty accurate guess, actually. So now it comes time for me to dig deep into my memory banks that don't exist and tell you this story. First of all, the Bergens are creatures that lack or believe that they lack the capacity to feel happiness.
So the trolls with their singing, they fix this problem by singing so well.
No, that makes no sense. I'm going to have to bleep you. So first thing you need to know is that they sing Clint Eastwood, right, by the Gorillaz. Did I get that right? Is that what that song's called?
Yeah.
I'm happy, I'm feeling glad.
Yep.
They sing it ironically when they introduce the Bergens because they're all very unhappy.
That song is about a certain green plant.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's about how unhappy they are.
Okay.
Look, I think every song is about a certain green plant at this point. I'm so tired of finding out that songs I like are about various drugs. I'm just going to pretend that every song is about drugs now, okay? So anyway, we're introduced to the Bergens. They're singing Clint Eastwood, but they're not happy, so it's ironic. Ha 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 ha. And there is a troll king, and he has a son, and the son wakes up on, I'm going to say trollstice. That sounds right. The day when the trolls are going to make the Bergens happy. And he excitedly, and with a giant grin on his face, runs to his father to be like, I want to experience happiness for the first time. And I'm just sitting there like, look in the mirror. What? It's right. You're already there, kid. Congratulations. And it turns out that is the resolution of the movie. Spoiler alert, happiness was in them all along. And it's like, yeah, I mean...
Is this worse than the Emoji Movie?
No. Nothing is worse than the Emoji Movie.
Well, I guess if there's some nice songs.
The Emoji Movie talked about Dropbox, so... But anyway, so he's like waking up his father, and he's like, I really want to eat a troll, because that's what they do to feel happiness. They eat trolls. And that apparently consuming their little troll bodies makes them feel happiness.
That's pretty dark.
It's incredibly dark. This movie is all over the place. And so they go, and there's a troll tree that's in a big cage that the trolls could easily slip through because they're like 2 inches tall, so whatever. But they go, and then the chef lady, Bergen, is ready to grill up the trolls on her barbecue, and she reaches into the tree to grab Princess Poppy, who is a baby, in order to put her on a barbecue, in order to feed her to a baby troll. Bergen, sorry. This is all true, I think. And she finds out that what she's grabbed instead is a decoy. It's a dummy with a troll wig on it. And they've escaped. They went underground or something. And the trolls have escaped the Bergens. And the king is like, no, I hate you. And I don't know, banishes the chef or something. Who cares? And the little boy prince is like, now I'll never feel happiness. And then the trolls escape. And they're like, woo, we're free and living in the forest. And now we can sing pop songs to our heart's delight or something. How are you doing so far?
This movie's pretty bad. I think I wrote 3 better movies while we were talking.
Well, it depends. Do you think Alvin and the Chipmunks, the live action movie, was better than this movie?
I didn't see it, but yeah. I mean, well,
I did see it.
Okay, here's the thing. If you removed the songs, because that's the point, everybody's having a good time singing these songs. If you took everything else out, would it be better than Alvin and the Chipmunks?
I mean, they wanted to put a baby inside of another baby.
Well, that's what I'm saying is worse.
Yeah. No, I think Alvin and the Chipmunks was slightly better. At least it had...
the Squeakquel or no?
No, just I didn't see the Squeakquel or the Squeakquel after the Squeakquel, which was called Chipwrecked. They were really reaching for those pun titles. I didn't agree with the fact that they made them regular-sized chipmunks, but at least it tried for a plot and character development. So, yes.
I think
if we're competing for last place,
well, if
Trolls might get there.
I think so, because you're banking pretty hard on just people like songs.
Yes. A lot of these movies are. I mean, Alvin and the Chipmunks and Trolls are both nostalgia grabs that don't make sense because the troll dolls that I remember were like from my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Trolls was definitely targeted at small children.
Well, it's
who
the
don't
girl.
remember those.
It's the girl meets world problem.
Yeah.
Nobody asked for it.
Nobody, yeah.
Well, I mean, 36-year-olds asked for it,
Right.
but they don't watch shows for kids.
Yeah. So they're living in the forest and they're living in constant fear-ish of being rediscovered by the Bergens or whatever, and some amount of time passes. I don't know how long trolls live, but Poppy, who was a baby, grows up, and she's a princess. She has alliteration. She has Princess Poppy, which is great.
That she likes pop music.
She likes pop music a lot, and she's throwing a party. So Princess Poppy's throwing a party because she likes pop music, and I'm just trying to talk into this pea stopper here, and she's singing a song, a pop song. I don't really remember what pop song opens it, which is funny because I'm pretty sure I saw the opening more than anything else. But whatever, she's singing. Anna Kendrick has a good voice, whatever. I like Cups. I hated Pitch Perfect, but, I'm done with these peas now. So she wants to throw this party, and all the trolls are very happy, and we have various cameos from voice actors. One of them is buck nude and glittery and speaks in auto-tune. I think that's all one. And I think its name is like Diamond Sparkle or something. It's just out there.
I wasn't ready for that either.
Yeah, no, and later in the movie, he grinds his rear end onto a spinning skateboard wheel in order to shoot glitter off of himself into the eyes of approaching Bergens to distract them like pepper spray. So Alvin and the Chipmunks is better, I think. I think it is.
I think so.
The Emoji Movie has Patrick Stewart playing talking poops, so I think that's still worse. And James Corden, so still worse, I feel like.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the Emoji Movie, but I've heard the Flophouse talk about it about 9 times because I keep listening to that one. So if you haven't heard the Flophouse talk about the Emoji Movie, I think it was one of their live shows, and it was absolutely amazing. I love that. And their Suicide Squad episode is what I listen to a lot as well. But the trolls are in the forest. Now, Branch, who is...
Who is Justin Timberlake?
Who is Justin Timberlake.
Okay.
He is not like the other trolls.
Oh, okay. He's an outsider looking in. He's dangerous.
I remember this now. Hold on. Okay. So first of all the trolls are really brightly colored, but he's got more muted tones. He's kind of like a gray blue and his hair is like a dark gray blue.
Yeah.
And he doesn't sing and dance, and all of them have a little flower watch that goes off every 15 minutes to remind them to hug each other, and he doesn't do that. He doesn't do hug time.
Right.
And he's also a conspiracy theorist, basically. He's a caricature of a conspiracy theorist. And basically, he's constantly fearing that the Bergens have shown up and found them, and so he's ruining things. And the one almost funny joke in the movie was a flashback to when he kept interrupting important events to yell that the Bergens had found them and turning over. So first it was a birthday and he turned over the birthday cake, and then it was a wedding and he turned over the wedding cake, and then it was a funeral.
Everything is cake related.
No, it was a funeral and he turned over the casket and the troll corpse fell out and it had clown makeup on its face. Anyway,
okay.
I said almost funny. It almost worked until the funeral scene. I wish I was making this up.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could be. I think if you were pulling my leg right now, I wouldn't have any clue.
I consider myself a good writer now, I guess, sort of, but I don't think I could come up with this on the fly. So he thinks the Bergens are constantly going to find them. So they're don't throw a party because then the Bergens will find us. And he's right. Spoiler alert. The chef Lady Bergen is trying to find them, and they throw a huge party with searchlights and spotlights and glitter and fireworks probably, and she sees all the lights and shininess and hears the music and finds them. And then she opens her fanny pack and steals a specific number of side characters.
Look, now I don't believe you.
Too bad. Oh, by the way, I don't think we have any British listeners, but in America, fanny means rear end.
Yes.
Not the bad thing you're thinking.
It's a wallet pouch that you wear around your waist.
Yes. And it's actually something that little kids say instead of butt or rear end or anything like that. So just wanted to clarify that. I think British people are more aware of Americanisms than vice versa. So, but just in case, because fanny pack would sound weird if it, So she opens her fanny pack. She steals a specific number of side characters that we've already met. So we are supposed to feel bad that they are getting fanny packed. And we don't, because they don't have any discernible personalities and they're rather annoying if I must tell you. It's just like, yeah, eat them, whatever. And she leaves. And then Poppy's like, this is my fault, so I'm going to go after them, I guess. Whatever. Guilt. Ugh. And Branch is like, no, you're an idiot. I'm going after them. No, he says, sure, fine, whatever. I don't remember. For some reason, he doesn't want to go, probably because he hates her because she's so happy. And then he has a bunker that he's been stalking for just such an occasion. And all the other trolls are down there. And she's like, sure, fine, don't go with me. You'll just stay here and listen to music and be hugged all the time. And he was like, oh, shoot, I don't want that. I'm going to follow you. And so they go off on this.
That is a good way to get the outsider to like join your adventure.
Tell the introvert here he's going to get hugged.
Yeah, you're going to get hugged all the time. And you're going to hate it. So you might as well come along.
So she sings a song about how everything's fine. Kind of like that Olaf song in Frozen 2. I don't know if you remember it. It's like a completely unnecessary song, but they needed more Olaf for the children. Again, it's ironic because everything's not fine. She keeps getting attacked by honestly horrifying creatures. And then Branch saves her or something. I don't know. And then they end up questing together. The rest of this you can fill in. A male character and a female character who are opposites in every way and don't like each other to start with go on a quest together.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, well,
I think that they should stay enemies.
It's by the book, and they don't. But they don't kiss. This is one thing. So at least they don't kiss, because their little tiny, weird, cartoony bodies would not work with that. So
okay,
they don't kiss.
This was one of my questions.
Yeah.
Because trolls, in a way, I'm glad that somebody tried. There's a weird kind of dead spot in movies where if you're 6 or under, there's a bunch of movies for you. And if you're 13 and older, there's a bunch of movies for you. But if you are in that middle ground...
Middle grade. It's what middle grade novels
there's nothing.
Yeah.
And it's because when you're 14 years old, you can go watch Winter Soldier. And when you're 6...
You can watch Paddington.
Paddington. I don't know why you thought the same movie I did, but...
Because I knew where your brain was, because you were thinking about Rotten Tomatoes and how kids' movies always get 100% because there's nothing really to say about kids' movies other than
if they're serviceable.
Yeah, which is what we do. We go like, should you let your kid watch this? Will it entertain them and not annoy you too much? Yes, 100%. You know.
So in a way, I'm glad Trolls exists because somebody like gave it an effort.
It's like a middle grade movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
But they didn't. Apparently, they did a pretty bad job.
So, I mean, like, they did a bad job by my standards, but obviously it made a ton of money and whatever. But I will say this. I say it almost every time we talk about an animated movie. The animation is fantastic. They went for an art style and they nailed it. It was kind of like... they wanted all the trolls to look like they were wearing like felts and buttons and stuff like that, like almost like craft store clothes. And they went with that aesthetic and it worked. And I think that they did it. The animators always show up to work, in my opinion. Basically, they go on a quest. Branch is really persnickety and Poppy doesn't like it. So she sings, "Hello, Darkness, my old friend." Is that the title of the song? I literally only know one line. "Hello, Darkness, my old friend." That's the actual song.
Sound of Silence.
By?
Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel.
It's a Simon and Garfunkel song?
Yes.
No. I thought they sang like, there we go. The Sound of Silence, Wikipedia. I'm Wikipediaing so much today. Oh my God. I'm sorry that I didn't believe you. It's just, I thought that they were like folk singers or something. Did I get them wrong?
No, it's just they did that song.
Did they have an emo phase? Can I picture Simon and Garfunkel's emo phase now? Hold on.
They had turtlenecks for a while.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Were they black turtlenecks? Gray?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. That'll make sense. Okay, so she sings that to make fun of him for being so emo. And then shenanigans ensue. Again, this is kind of the middle part of the movie where they didn't actually have a plot. They had like a beginning and an end in mind. And they were like, middle. songs. They'll sing songs.
That's what they should have.
Places.
Look, I haven't seen this movie. I'm guessing the plot, but that's what they should have done from the beginning. They should have just had an opera and just done a bunch of songs, and that's it. Don't have a plot.
This is going to go further off the rails, though. I'm afraid. I'm
well,
letting you know.
And
because Zooey Deschanel's in it.
Disney is going to remake The Little Mermaid, and I'm just so afraid that they're gonna do anything other than do a opera.
Well, they're definitely going to try to. If they follow their formula, they are going to try to address plot holes that they can't address, like Ariel being 16 and Ariel falling in love with a dude.
And it's going to be 30 minutes longer than it needs to be.
And Ariel falling in love with a dude who's twice her age, who she's never talked to. And Ariel falling in love with a dude who definitely lives in a fishing kingdom, like, where he eats a lot of seafood, all that stuff. They're going to try to explain it away and going to make it worse in the meantime. But Poppy and Branch finally have a heart-to-heart or something. I don't actually know when this revelation comes, but this is my favorite thing that's ever happened in movies. She's badgering him about why he doesn't sing, right? And she probably thinks he has a bad voice or something. Justin Timberlake obviously has the best male singing voice of all time. It's supposed to be a big reveal when he sings, and it's like, ooh, it's good, but it's like, it's Justin Timberlake. It's okay. It's cool. It's good. I mean, he doesn't suck. Again, I can't throw stones, but he doesn't sing.
Look! I'm doing a bad job right now because all I'm doing is references to other things.
That's what Trolls is anyway.
And I'm thinking of Simply Ballroom right now.
Oh, I love Simply Ballroom
because it.
Oh, Dad doesn't dance.
When the dad doesn't dance, it isn't because he doesn't. It's because it's not good enough.
It's not because he can't, it's because he doesn't, because he was traumatized. And in fact, that is correct. So now I'll ask you this question. Something traumatized Branch in his childhood that made him no longer want to sing. What was it? Pretend I'm playing the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music in the background here.
I'm going to need it. Ask the audience in a 50-50.
Singing caused something bad to happen.
When he sang the last time, the Grumbles, or whatever they were called, found him, they found his brother, and the last time he just let his voice soar, the Gibbaldies, they found him.
The Gibbaldies. Yeah, and his brother's name is Twig, right? It's one of those, like, crescendos of an argument kind of moments, big reveal moments where it's like they're arguing and arguing and arguing, and finally he blurts out what his problem is. In my memory, again, take all of this with a grain of salt because I have not seen it recently. I was going to maybe rewatch it, and then I decided that it would be better if I just didn't. It'd be better for me if I didn't. So my commitment to this podcast, you've just seen the limits I'll go to. So they're arguing and arguing, and finally he blurts out, and I think I've got a direct quote, but I might be a word or two off. Singing killed my grandma.
I wasn't that far off.
You were not. And now I'm trying to remember how. So little baby Branch was singing a song, probably another pop song, and he was enjoying it, and he was colorful at the time, and he was having such a good time singing, and he was singing so loud that he didn't hear approaching danger, perhaps one of the bloogies that you were talking about, and his grandma got taken and eaten or something, and he decided that it was his fault for singing, and so he stopped singing, and he got depressed, and therefore became more muted colors, like his color literally like seeped out of him, and he became very gray, and so singing killed his grandma, and he doesn't sing anymore because of his grandma getting mildly killed off screen.
Oh, this is the best podcast ever. We mildly killed as the title.
No, I that's not what I meant. It's just like I meant to say like she was killed off screen. And also, it really didn't have to do with his singing. It's not like he sang so loud that her head exploded, right? Like, he was just singing and then a bad thing happened. And I know trauma works that way sometimes, right? We associate things with bad memories. I get that. But singing didn't kill his grandma. Singing was happening while his grandma was killed.
Look.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm back.
This podcast, we have to say what's in the movie that kids are just allowed to watch, and I'm not sure we're allowed to.
No, none of this is really kid-friendly. Anyway, so Branch is super traumatized from his dead grandma who was mildly killed off screen. And Poppy's like, oh no. And I don't really remember how she reacts to that. I think she's one of those children's book characters or children's movie characters who doesn't know how to feel bad about stuff, who's never been exposed to like the negative things in the world, and so doesn't know how to react. And I don't know. So they get to the castle where the trolls have been fanny packed away to. And the king is dead, and the prince, who was a prince like 20 years ago, is apparently now king, but like he looks the same size and shape as he was when he was a baby. And so I was really confused. I was like, wait, did he not grow up? Like what happened? But apparently he just looks the same. I guess so we would recognize the character, right? Because they couldn't have any dialogue like, hey, cuz, what's up? You know, like so, hey, my king who was once the prince, but now your father's dead, something like that, you know.
And if somebody ages 20 years, like it yeah.
So anyway, the chef Bergie has an assistant who's played by Zooey Deschanel, who again looks like a child. So the king and the assistant look like children. Sorry, they don't look like one child. They look like two different children, but are apparently adults, even though the other adult Bergens that we see, I said it right that time, sorry, are full-sized and taller than them in every way and have shapes to their faces and bodies that look adults. So I don't get why these two look like children. And it's weird because they have a romantic subplot with these two children-looking things. So anyway, Zooey Deschanel plays Gretchen? We'll say Gretchen.
Okay.
If I'm right, I'm paying myself $1 million. Okay. So she plays Gretchen. And Gretchen is in love with the king for some reason, but he doesn't notice her. And then I don't really remember like how this happened, but the trolls decided to help her get with the king, and they go to like a skate park. But like so
wait, okay. So the Griswolds, the Grumblies, I thought their entire motivation was just eating trolls. They have skate parks and love stories.
Yes, of course, obviously. And so they can control their hair. I forgot to say this. They can make their hair be prehensile and like grow and shrink and whatever. And so they use their hair as like Indiana Jones's whip, basically. So the trolls, including Poppy and Branch, all get together and make a wig out of their hair for Gretchen in order to hide themselves on her head and also make her look pretty. And then they go on a date with her and tell her what to say to make the king fall in love with her. And I remember this part well because I wanted to throw up. Branch is the one counseling Gretchen on what to say, but when he's telling her how to express her feelings of love, he's looking at Poppy. And I vomited for 3 years, and then they fall in love, but Gretchen doesn't want him to find out. It's like a Cinderella thing, like she doesn't want him to find out that she's just a scullery maid or whatever. I also don't know if her name is Gretchen. I'll look it up later. I don't know. Something happens with that. Nobody cares. Anyway, they rescue the other trolls, but then they fail. This is where the skateboard, or perhaps it's a skate, like a roller skate, since they were roller skating earlier, comes in and the glittery one does the thing. I really don't want to repeat it. It wasn't good the first time I said it. And they try to get away, but they don't because this is the climax, I guess. Anyway, so they end up in a giant cookery pot with a lid on it, and they're trapped in there waiting to die. And Poppy finally realizes that she's failed in her quest to rescue her friends, and so she gets emo and starts losing her color. And Branch sees this and is like, no, that sucks. It's like my grandma mildly dying all over again. And so he sings to her, finally.
He sings extra hard and makes her feel better.
He sings it all. Now, he sings a song, and I'm guessing it's called True Colors.
I don't even know who that's by.
It's a very on-the-nose song. Like, True Colors.
Oh, Cyndi Lauper?
Maybe it's Cyndi Lauper. Hold on. Yeah.
I actually don't know this one.
It might be a Cyndi Lauper song. Anyway, I have Googled enough stuff, except I still have to look up. Oh, Bridget. I think it's Bridget. Did I say Gretchen? It might be Bridget.
Just pick.
Anyway, so she's all emo. Yeah, it's Bridget. I don't know how I remembered that. It was a name that sounded like Gretchen to me, and I don't know why, but Bridget and Gretchen sound similar. in the plosives and such. Anyway, so so I don't know. Bridget's there and the king is there and they're gonna eat the trolls and Poppy's emo and then he sings True Colors and she gets her colors back and they hug. Not kiss, but hug, showing that Branch's character arc has come to a close. And then, I don't know, man. They're all waiting to eat the trolls, and then the trolls decide to, like, sing the song about happiness that lets them know that the ability to feel the emotion happiness was inside them all along. And they're like, okay, you can leave now. And the trolls are like, thank you. And then they leave. And I guess, like, Bridget gets together with the king or whatever, even though they look like children. And I don't know, the chef lady, she maybe gets, like, kicked out or beaten up or something.
What are the gerbils going to eat now? We just took away their entire, like, we just ruined this ecosystem.
I don't think, but see, they only ate them once a year. So they didn't eat them for sustenance.
They just did it for fun?
They ate them literally for fun, in order to feel happiness. And so now they're just going to feel their own happiness, which is an emotion, and they felt plenty of other emotions.
That they had in their bones the whole time.
And that but it wasn't even, like, hidden from us that they did, because, like, for instance, when the chef lady discovered the trolls after so long of searching, she smiled because the discovery made her happy. And it's like, yeah, it turns out if you can feel...
Yeah, she could have just had a good time all on her own.
If you can feel sad and angry, you can probably reach down deep and find some happiness somewhere. But apparently they needed a new pop song to teach them that. And now they know that they actually can just feel happy if they feel like it. And then the trolls go home and party, and Branch is willing to wear the hug watch and do the hugging regularly. And... all the cameo artists are there to sing. Maybe Katy Perry. I think James Corden's in this one too, actually. He's just in everything, isn't he? I'm so sorry, James Corden, but I don't like you. If I ever saw Justin Timberlake in the wild, I think I would just, like, leave. I don't think I would even want to, like, address him.
I would, like... I would say something nice that he didn't know or that he hasn't heard in a real long time. Like, hey, everybody in Memphis is proud of you.
Or, hey, I really like your frosted tips. And just walk away. I feel so neutral about Justin Timberlake. I can't summon anything. I didn't like Bringing Sexy back as a song.
No.
I didn't like it. I liked some NSYNC songs, though. Was he the one in NSYNC?
He was the one in NSYNC.
Because Aaron Carter was the one in Backstreet Boys, right?
There were so many boy bands back then.
There were two boy bands.
There was 98 Degrees. There was O-Town. Like, they got wild with how many different boy bands there were.
That's true. There were more than two.
There were so many.
But I only knew about two of them. So basically I have to go like, okay, Aaron Carter was Backstreet Boys, and by process of elimination, Justin Timberlake was NSYNC.
Yeah.
This is my favorite thing about feeling old. So when I taught, I was 26 years old, and I taught 8th graders my first year of teaching. They were doing a horrible workbook. I hated everything that this school in Texas made me do with these children. The testing and the workbooks, and it was all awful. But they used a selection of an article about NSYNC, the band, in order to help with their reading comprehension or whatever. And they were like, who's NSYNC? And I was like, Justin Timberlake's band. And they went, Justin Timberlake was in a band? And I was like, well, I'm just going to go jump off a cliff. Like, I'm so old and I'm only 26. Like, goodbye forever. And so I wanted to let you know that my students, when they were in 8th grade several years ago, didn't know Justin Timberlake was in a band at some point. He was just Justin Timberlake to them. Anyway, the movie is terrible. And Trolls 2 is worse. So much worse.
And I prefer Lance Bass, really.
Yeah, or Joey Fatone. He was the one in My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so in Trolls 2, the only thing that I really want to talk about is they decide that there's only like 6 genres of music in the whole world, and one of them is pop. But then they talk about like how there's also K-pop, which is a separate subgenre, I guess. But then later, when they're singing a pop medley, they sing Gangnam Style. And I'm like, no, you just said that wasn't your jurisdiction or whatever. And that really bothered me because they literally said K-pop exists and there are K-pop trolls, which, by the way, what? Anyway, so then, and it's like, so you have to discriminate? Like,
Yeah, that seems a little like, I mean,
very
it seems a
discriminating.
little racist. It's pop. If it's pop music, Gangnam Style was just on the radio.
Right. And yeah, I mean, and honestly, racism towards Asian culture in movies, in kids' movies, you brought up Sing earlier. It happened then too with Japanese singers, I think. They were speaking Japanese and singing like a song in Japanese, and they were like, we can't understand you. Get out of here with that. And it's like, okay, all right. It was like a caricature of Japanese culture. And I'm like, you can't just do that? Okay. But what they wanted to do probably was have a K-pop star as a cameo, since they kept having like cameos from singers and stuff. And they were just like, we're going to have to make K-pop trolls, but then we're going to need reggaeton trolls. And yes, they did. And I was, and yodeling trolls. And I'm just like, you have gone so far off
the deep end.
End. And what I'm saying is racism is bad. It just is. And it only recently occurred to me that apparently we're still getting away with racist stuff against Asians in just like popular movies.
The movie is so new too.
Yeah.
Like this isn't 1986.
Nope.
Like
both of these movies are Sing is a little bit older than Trolls 2, but it's still in the 2010s, I think.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just inexcusable. Anyway, on that happy note, thanks for guessing the plot. You just never would have gotten there.
I would have gotten nowhere without help.
And honestly, with both of us working at it, I still can't remember what the plot was. Like, I remember the beginning and I remember the end, but there's so many movies where they know what they want to start and they know what they want to finish, and the middle is just them walking places because they can't remember what else to do. So they're like, they need to get from A to C. B is just going to be them walking so that they can get there. Thank you for listening. Thank you for existing. Thank you for helping us to maintain our marbles for just one more week. We have some stuff to say. So all of our support sites, as usual, are listed below. I have finally started actually YouTubing a little bit. I'm hoping to do more in the near future. And with regards to that, my novel Hellbound is now available at the very least digitally. If you want to set your own price, you can go to Gumroad, and that will be in the description. The minimum price is $1 because I thought, who wants to do a credit card transaction for 50 cents? That seems not worth it. So, but other than that, you can set your own price. If you want, it's also on Nook. I'm trying to avoid Amazon. And then the print copies are coming. I just want to approve them before, I put them on the market. Also, pre-orders are on sale for a book that I can't really talk about on this podcast because it is rated R. It's romance, but it is in the description as well. If you don't mind reading some raunchy content and you're not related to me in any way, go for it. It's available for pre-order and it's reasonably priced. So I'm very excited about that. We will catch you next time. Until then, I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Alan.
Don't know why I sounded so uncertain about that. I guess I just surprised myself with ending the podcast. I was like, surprise, you're ending it now. Bye, friends.
Bye.
Radar, oy vey. Just so caught up in the wires. Why do we let our dog into our recording space?